Today in this video, we're going to explain every shield ever in detail. If you've got your popcorn ready, let's begin. 1. Triangular shield. First attempt, raw energy. Remember the first Captain America movie? This weak man wants to join the army for his country, but gets rejected. And you know the story. Despite having a frail body, he earns the right to take the super soldier serum because he has a strong heart. As he starts becoming popular, he goes on a tour with a decorative costume and shield for army propaganda. And during that tour, he carries a triangular shield, metal, painted, completely decorative. This isn't the real shield, just a stage prop. But Steve doesn't leave it on stage. On his first real mission, when he goes to rescue Bucky, he uses that triangular shield because he has nothing else. Comic book connection. The cover of Captain America Comics number 1, 1941, shows a triangular shield. That's true, but it wasn't changed because of reader feedback. A rival publisher, MLJ Comics, objected because it looked too similar to their hero, the Shield. Timely Comics said, okay, and changed the design. So even Marvel's first shield design lost to a copyright objection. What do you think about the triangular design? Should we have seen more of it?
2. Vibranium round shield. The real legend. This dialogue between Howard Stark and Steve is iconic. There are dozens of prototypes on the table. Steve notices a plain-looking round object under the table. "What's this?" he asks. Howard reluctantly explains, "Vibranium. Stronger than steel, 1/3 the weight." Steve, "I want this." Howard, "No, it's just a prototype." Steve, "I want this." Honestly, years later, Tony Stark taking the shield back saying, "This doesn't belong to you," was brutal.
That shield.
Was that scene really necessary? This shield becomes part of Steve's identity throughout the MCU. In the Avengers, Thor strikes the shield with Muolnir, resulting in a massive shockwave. It's funny, but also a peak Marvel moment showing both of their power. In The Winter Soldier, the shield gains another dimension. During the fight with Bucky, it passes back and forth between them. Steve no longer trusts S.H.I.E.L.D. The shield becomes both power and burden. It represents an ideal, and that ideal is being questioned. Comic book connection. In comics, the shield isn't just vibranium. It's a unique alloy formed accidentally from vibranium and steel called Proto-Adamantium. This mix was never recreated. The MCU simplified it to pure vibranium, but the comic version is more interesting. It's an accident. The shield has also been broken, destroyed, and restored many times in comics, including in events like Secret Wars. But it always comes back. Let me ask you, how did you feel when Steve dropped the shield in Civil War? Because people actually cried in that scene. 3. Sam Wilson's shield, legacy, weight on the shoulders. Remember old Steve sitting on that bench at the end of Endgame? That controversial scene happens. Steve gives the shield to his close friend Sam. Steve, how does it feel? Sam, like it belongs to someone else. Steve, it doesn't. Those two words sum up the entire worthiness crisis and identity debate. Honestly, I liked seeing Sam with the shield. I don't know if you watched the series, but his journey was enjoyable. Still, seeing an Avenger struggle with poverty and go bank to bank for a loan didn't feel realistic. What do you think? Comic book connection. Sam Wilson becomes Captain America in the comics. First, in All New Captain America 2014 by Rick Remender, then continued in Captain America Sam Wilson 2015 by Nick Spencer. The same debate appears. Is he worthy? The comics handle it more sharply and politically. The MCU brought that energy to a wider audience. 4. John Walker's shield. Wrong hands, dirty surface. In The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, after Steve leaves, a new Captain America is needed. The candidate? John Walker. Let's be honest. Great soldier, peak physical condition, exactly the image they want. He gets the shield. But Marvel fans know, if you don't deserve the power you hold, you can't become a legend. Walker takes the super soldier serum and loses control. What he does with that shield, in front of cameras, in public, is the exact opposite of everything Steve Rogers stood for. Comic book connection.
Comics explored John Walker much earlier and much darker. In Captain America number 333, 1987, he officially becomes Captain America. His psychological collapse is far more detailed there. The MCU version is simplified but still effective. Do you think we should see more of Walker? 5. Bucky Barnes' shield. Shortest time, heaviest burden. In the MCU, Bucky never officially becomes Captain America. But in Endgame, the moment he holds the shield with his metal arm during the battle, that shot alone was enough. And in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, his relationship with the shield while training Sam kept that possibility alive. Comic book connection. Comics made it real. Starting from Captain America, Volume 5, number 34, 2008, Bucky becomes Captain America and carries the vibranium shield. This era, written by Ed Brubaker, is considered one of the best Captain America runs ever. Bucky's version is darker, more pragmatic, less idealistic. He has seen the dirty side of war, not just the glory. That's why the shield feels different with him. Same object, completely different story. Why do you think the MCU didn't choose Bucky for this role? I think it was intentional. Sam's story has a more current and social meaning. But what if Bucky had become Captain America? 6. Isaiah Bradley's shield. The Forgotten Hero. One of the most emotional scenes in Sam's series. Sam meets Isaiah Bradley and learns the truth. Isaiah underwent a super soldier experiment before Steve Rogers. But unlike Steve, he was hidden and experimented on. This scene is one of the MCU's boldest moments, because it's not just a superhero story, it's commentary on discrimination. Comic book connection. Isaiah Bradley was introduced in Truth, Red, White, and Black, 2003, by Robert Morales. It tells the story of super soldier experiments on black soldiers. It became one of Marvel's most controversial and important series. The MCU did the right thing by bringing this story to the screen.
7. Shield plus Mjolnir. Endgame's peak moment. Avengers Endgame. Thanos' army arrives. Steve stands alone. His shield is broken. And then, Mjolnir flies into his hand. The entire theater went insane. This moment wasn't just action, it was the answer to a question built over years. In Age of Ultron, Steve slightly moved Mjolnir. Thor's subtle panic. Now we have the answer. Steve uses both the shield and Mjolnir together. This combination represents 10 years of storytelling in a single scene. Comic book connection. Comics showed Steve worthy of Mjolnir long before, in the Fear Itself 2011 storyline. But the MCU made it feel more earned through long-term storytelling. 8. Broken shield. The shattered ideal. In the final battle of Endgame, Thanos' double-edged sword breaks the shield into pieces. Only a fragment remains on Steve's arm. He's tired, alone, his ideal worn down, but he stands. The broken shield is a metaphor for resistance. That scene says, sometimes, to move forward, you have to lose everything. Comic book connection. Comics have broken, destroyed, and restored the shield many times. It always comes back, because it's not just an object, it's an idea. And ideas can't be killed. One final question. Who is the real Captain America? Steve, Sam, or Isaiah Bradley? Write in the comments, because there is no correct answer. There's only your answer.